Hey, in this video, I'm going to be covering a maths higher tier paper. So this is going to be for all iGCSE and GCSE students. And this paper is 2 hours long, 100 marks, which means you have just over a minute per mark, which is quite good. And yeah, I'm going to be going through this paper at a quite fast pace, and you don't have to really go at this pace during the exam. Take your time, but I just don't want the video to be too long. So if you want to try any questions before I do them, then pause the video and then see if you got the answer right. So another thing is that this formula sheet is actually very important, because when you look at a question, you don't really know what to do. Sometimes you can just come back here and look at it, and then you'll realize that, okay, this is what I need to do. So let's start with the first question. This table shows some information about the hourly rates of 60 workers. So the first question asks for the modal class. And what the modal class means is the class with the highest frequency. And if we look here, that's clearly 18, which is going to be this one. So that's the answer. You just got to write that here. Now, work out an estimate for the mean hourly rate of pay of the 60 workers. And it's 4 marks, so this is quite a nice question because it's quite simple. So what you have to do is you have to find the middle value of all of these frequencies. So you have to find, not frequencies, the hourly rates. You have to find the middle value. So what I mean by middle value is, for example, the middle of 10 and 15 is going to be 12.5. The middle of 17 and 20 is going to be 17.5. The middle of 20, 25, it's 22.5, and then just keep going. Nice. Now that you have all of these values, you're going to multiply them by their frequencies. So 12.5 times 18. And then you're going to have, okay, well, let's do it first. 12.5 times 18 is going to be 12.5, 225. Now next, 17.5 times 16 is going to be equals to 280. Okay, 22.5 times by 14. You can skip this part if you find it boring, but I'm just going to do it so I can actually get the answer. 315. Next one, 275. No, 27.5 times by 8 is equals to 220. And the last one, 32.5 times 4. It's going to give you 130. Now we have all of these values. We want to add them together to find the total hourly rate pay of all 60 workers. So let's do that really quickly. So you're going to do 225 plus 280 plus 315 plus 220 plus 130, which is going to give you, just put it in the calculator. It's going to give you 1,170. And that's the total. But I asked for the mean, so we're going to do that. So we're going to take this divided by the total amount of workers, which is 60, which is going to give us 19.5. And that's going to be the answer. That's quite a nice question, 4 marks, and it's pretty simple. Okay, next, it's a bisecting angle question, which is quite easy to do, but I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm on an iPad. But what you have to do is get a compass, put one of the sharp points here and another one along this line. And using that, you're going to draw like a curve like this just by rotating the compass. And now be sure to not move like the distance between the 2 points, but move that compass now into here. And you want to do the same thing, like draw another one of these. And the point at which these two arcs cross each other will be the bisecting point. So what you have to do is draw a line from the origin through there, and that's it. Well, I'm going to do it here, but it's not going to be accurate, but just for you guys to see. So you want to draw a point here, and then a point along the same part, so here. And then you just, it's kind of bad, but you just draw it through this point here. You draw a line here. And do it with a ruler. Don't do it like me, because you could lose marks for that. Now, next question. This is quite simple. you just gotta simplify it. And in cases like these, it's just you add the exponents together. So it's 3 plus 5, which is equals to p8, p to the power of 8, and that's the answer. Next one, expand and simplify. Do go quite slow in these, otherwise I think they could easily trip you up because there's so many things to multiply and add together. So let's go for it slowly. 2n, what is going on? Okay, 2n multiplied by 4n, which is going to give you 8n. Now 2n times 3 is going to be 6n. Now n times n is going to be n squared. Sorry, this should be squared here. And then n times minus 4 is minus 4n. Now you just simplify, which is going to be 9n squared plus 2n. And that's your answer. Next, solve this. And this is quite simple because there's no squared terms, it's just x. All you have to do is rearrange x on one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the right-hand side by 3 to get rid of the fraction. So it's going to be equals to 3 times 4 minus x, which means that 2x plus 5 is equals to 12 minus 3x. Now I'm going to move all the x terms to one side and all the non-x terms to the other side. So 2x plus 3x is equals to 12 minus 5, which means that 5x is equals to 7, and that x is equals to 7 over 5. And you can leave the answer in a fraction, it's fine, as long as they don't ask for it. Okay, next. A Venn diagram question, okay? So it's quite important for the exams to remember what each of these symbols mean. There's many more symbols, but this is just one of them. So please do remember those for the exam. Otherwise, when one of these questions come up, it may be difficult. So let's see. It asks us to list the members of set B. Okay, so let's just look at everything in set B. So that's everything in here. And the numbers we can see are the 4 numbers that I've highlighted. So we're going to put them down, but make sure they're in ascending order because I think that's how you're supposed to do it. I'm not sure, but just do it that way just in case. And the next one we want is the intersection between A and B, which means this area that both of them have in common. So imagine A is yellow, right? Yeah, it has this, and B is green, and B has all of this. So it's the area where both colors like intersect, which is in the middle. And that's gonna be 3 and 7. So next we want anything but the numbers in set A. So that means everything outside of A. So that would be 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Remember, these 2 in the middle don't count in this set because they're still a part of A, even though they're a part of B. Okay, next. You have a cylinder, you're given the radius and the height. You have to work out the volume and give it in the nearest liter. So an important thing for this question is to know that 1 liter is equivalent to 1,000 centimeter cubed. Otherwise, I don't think you would be able to do this question. So do keep that in mind. So let's go. First, to find the volume of a cylinder, you want to find the area of the circle or the cross section, if you want to call it that. So let's go. 70 centimeters is the r, so pi r squared, pi times 70 squared. It's going to give you, let's go, pi times 70 squared, 4,900 pi. And you're going to times that by 18. So 18 times 4,900 pi. It's going to be equals to 88,200 pi, which is going to be in centimeters cubed. Now, you don't really want that, obviously, because that's not what you want. You're going to divide this by 1,000 because you want that in liters. And like I said before, 1 liter is equals to 1,000 centimeter cubes. So let's do that. Then you'll get 88.2 pi liters. Now, you still have a pi in there. You obviously want to multiply that out because you want it to the nearest liter. So 88.2 times pi is 277 point whatever liters, and you want it to the closest liter, so 277 should be your answer. And I think that for questions like these, it's really important to just take your time. Otherwise, it's easy to get stuff wrong. I've skipped a few working out steps, but yeah, just don't do that on the exam because you also lose marks for not showing working out. So here, the question's asking for the highest common factor of 3 different numbers, and it's quite nice because it's giving us the numbers in its factored form. So when you're looking for highest common factor, you want to look for factors that are common, and you want to choose the one with the lowest power. So for example, the 2's. The lowest power is 2 squared. So you're going to do 2 squared multiplied by 5 squared, because that's the lowest power, multiplied by 7. And you forget about the 11 because that's not a common term in all 3 of them. So that should be your answer. I don't think you have to multiply it out. You can just write it down. Oh, no, yeah, sorry. Here it says, write your answer as a product of prime factors, which means just leave it like this. So if you actually multiply it out, you lose the mark. So 2 squared is supposed to be a 2 times 5 squared times 7 should be your answer. All right, next. Shop A and Shop B have offers for buying the same type of laptop. The normal price of a laptop in Shop A is different to the normal price of a laptop in Shop B. Which shop gives more money off their normal price? Okay. Let's see. So in Shop A, the normal price is £475, and you get 16% off, so it's going to be that multiplied by 1 minus 0.16, which is equals to, if you do it in the calculator, or just, yeah, you can do it here, 499. Actually, I'm going to check that out because I don't trust that. Okay, never mind, it is, right? So 399 is going to be the amount you pay for a laptop in Shop A. In Shop B, you get 15% off of your normal price. So basically, what that means is a number, which is the original price, the normal price, multiplied by 1 minus 0.15 is 408. So you want to, so basically it's the reverse of what we just did for Shop A. Don't know why that disappeared. So all you gotta do is rearrange for x, which is gonna be equals to 408 divided by 1 minus 0.15, which is gonna give you, let's see, 480. Now the question is not over because it's asking us for which shop gives more money off their normal price, not which one is the cheapest. So let's do normal price of Shop A minus discounted price, which is going to give us £76. And the discounted price of Shop B, the normal price of Shop B is 480, we just found it, minus the discounted price of 408, which is going to give us £72. Now, you can clearly see that Shop A, the discount on Shop A is bigger because it's 76, which is bigger than 72. So that's your answer, Shop A. Next, factorize. Now, when factorizing quadratic, you just want to be thinking what numbers add up to give 5. Well, in this case, add up to give the term in the middle, the x term, and which ones multiply together to give negative 24. So if you think about it, we have 8 and 3. Now it's going to be x plus 8 and x minus 3. So that's going to be your answer. All right, next one. Solve the same quadratic we just factorized. So to solve it, we already written it in the factorized form, so we're just going to use that here. And because there's 2 numbers multiplying to give 0, one of these has to be 0. We can just assume that. So if x plus 8 is equals to 0, then that means x equals negative 8. Or if x minus 3 is equals to 0, x is equals to 3. And that's your 2 answers. X equals to 3 x equals to minus 8. Now, the next question is asking us to solve an inequality, which should be quite easy. You just want to treat this like a normal equation, I guess. So 7, and you just want to move all the y's to one side. So let's move this to here, and then this to there. So when I have 15 is greater than 4y. And you can just divide both sides by 4. So 15 divided by 4 is greater than y. That's your answer. I think that's your answer. If that's not right, then don't listen to me. But yeah. Now write 8.4 times 10 to the negative 5 as an ordinary number. So basically as a decimal, because this is currently in standard form and they don't want that for some reason. So you want to move 8.4 back by a few decimals. So let's go. You want to move it back by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to give you. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Chef, that's wrong because it's supposed to be like here. Yeah. And that's what it is. That's just the answer. 0.00084. Sorry, I don't know why I put a point here. And the next one is work out this in standard form. Now, a question like this, they design it purposely so you can't use a calculator, so you just have to do it by hand. But it's still quite easy because you can just technically rewrite this as 6.5 times by 8 multiplied by 10 negative 40 times 10 to the power of 185. And what do we know about when multiplying two numbers with the same base but different powers together? You add the powers. So what this means is you just have 6.5 times 8, which is 52, multiplied by 10 of minus 40 plus 185, which is going to give you let's see, let's write it in the next line. 52 times 10 to the minus 40 plus 185. It's 145. Don't even need this. Right. But notice how this is not in standard form because it's not going to be 50 because 50 is not in standard form. It has to be between 1 and 10, and it can't be 10. Sorry, I don't know why it's not working. Let me just write this out. So what you have to do is 5.2 times 10 to the 144. Or no, 145. Sorry, 146. That's what it is because you have to move this back by 1 decimal point. So you have to change the power of the 10 by 1. That should be your answer. So 5.2 times 10 to the 146. And I think, yeah, that's quite a nice question as well. Okay, next one. Two similar triangles. Work out the value of x. So this is just a scale factor question. So we're given the side BA on the smaller triangle, but we're not given ED on the bigger triangle. So we just have to find ED. And you can just do that by using Pythagoras theorem. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, c being the hypotenuse. So let's go. So that means 24 squared plus unknown x squared is equals to 51 squared. So that means x squared is equals to 51 squared minus 24 squared. I don't know why I keep writing my 2's like that. So x is going to be equals to the root of 51 squared minus 24 squared. And just plug that into the calculator. You're going to get, let's see, 45. So this side we know is 45 centimeters. And, okay, if we know it's 45 centimeters, then let's look at the ratio between the two sides of both triangles. Because then we can use the same ratio here to find the x. So, if the bigger triangle has 45 on this side and the smaller triangle has 7.5, then we could just do 45 divided by 7.5, which is equals to 6. And that's the scale factor because the bigger triangle is 6 times bigger than the smaller triangle. So since we know that, that means the side of DF is going to be 6 times bigger than the side of AC. So 24 divided by 6 is going to be what AC is. And that's going to be 4 centimeters, remember, because units are pretty important. They might penalize you for not putting units, so do you remember that? Okay, next. Complete the table and plot the points. Quite nice question as well. All you have to do is just plug it into there. So replace x with 0.5 in this equation here. So you got 2 times 0.5 plus 1 over 0.5. So you're going to have 5 here. And you're going to have, the next one's going to be 6, I think. Well, let me see. 1 plus 1 over 1, so it's 2. Oh, sorry, 4. Okay, next one, they've given it to us, it's 5. And the next one, 6.7, okay. Well, let's plug 4 in, so you got 1 over 4 plus, well, I'm just going to use the calculator because I don't want to get this wrong. 2 times 4 plus 1 over 4. It's going to give us 8.5. And the 5 one is going to give us 5.2 times 2, which is going to be 10.4 if I'm not mistaken. Let me recheck that actually. So 5 plus 1 over 5. 1 over 5 is 0.2. Okay, yeah. Now all we got to do is plot this, which should be quite simple. So let's see, at 0.5 we have 5. So here. At 1 we have 4. At 2 we have 5 again. At 3 we have 6.7. So let's go, 6.5 is here, 6.7 should be here. 4, 8.5. So let's go up a little bit. Okay. And next one, 5, we have 10.4. Let's see, it's here. 6 is 12.3. And yeah. So I think it wants us to draw the graph, so just connect the dots. Yeah, this line is horrible because it's hard to do on iPad, but yeah, just do it better on the exam. Okay, let's see this. This is a 4 marker as well, so it should take you like 5 minutes. Let's see. ABC is a right angle triangle. D is a point on BC. Nice. So we're given 3 lengths. No, well, 3 values actually. AB, the angle of BAD, and BCA. Let's see. We have to find DX. So immediately what I'm thinking is either the sine rule or the cosine rule, because you have a triangle that's a non-right angle triangle, and that's the 2 formulae that you should know, and it's on the formula booklet. So let's see. Here, we're given every angle except for this one, but you can find this because in a triangle they add up to 180. So let's see, 90 plus 24 plus 47 is 161. So that means 180 minus 161 is 19. This is 19 here. Okay, now to use the sine rule, we need 2 sides and their respective angles. So, well, we need 1 side and 2 angles. So we need to find this side. We can do that by using SOHCAHTOA quite easily because we have a length here and an angle here. So we want this, which is the hypotenuse. Well, let me just draw this triangle out so it's easy to visualize. That is pretty horrible. Okay, whatever. So this is 47. And this is 4,250. And yeah, this is 90. So we can use SOHCAHTOA here. And we want the hypotenuse. So what we have here is the adjacent, and we don't have the opposite. So think about it. SOHCAHTOA. Which one has adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So that means the cosine of 47 is going to be equals to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is equals to 4,250 divided by cos of 47. If you rearrange, which is going to give us 6,231.77 to one decimal place. And you should, in your calculation, you shouldn't do any rounding, but just to like put it down here, I'm gonna round. But in the further calculations, I'm just gonna use the whole number. So since we have this side, now we can use the sine rule. So sine rule basically means that sine A over A is equals to sine B. No, sorry. Sine B over B equals sine C over C. Now if we have an angle here, let's do, for example, sine of 24, over the value we just found, should be equals to the sine of 19 over DC. So just rearrange for DC. DC is going to be equals to sine of 19 divided by sine of 24 divided by 6,231.7, which is going to be equals to, sorry, this is kind of written badly. Okay, give me a second to put this in the calculator. $4,988.1, and it wants it to the nearest integer, so just 4,988 should be fine. Our next, probability. Just read the question and just fill in the table, I guess. Okay, so if the probability of him being early is 0.7, then not early has to be 0.3 because it has to add up to 1. And if Thomas gets to work early on Saturday, the probability he will get to work early on Sunday is 0.9. So here's 0.9, here's 0.1. If Thomas does not get to work early on Saturday, the probability that he will get to work early on Sunday is 0.6. So here's 0.6 and here's 0.4. It's quite simple. And to work out the probability that Thomas gets to work early on both Saturday and Sunday, you have to do the probability of getting early on Saturday multiply the probability of getting early on Sunday. So it's that, which is going to give you 0.63. All right, next. B is inversely proportional to the square of D. B equals 0.5 when D is 12. Find a formula for B. Okay, so B is proportional to, well, inversely proportional is going to be 1 over the square of D, which means that B is equals to K over D squared. So basically we just want to find D to find a formula. Substitute the values in, so 0.25 is going to be equals to K over 12 squared, which is going to be equals to, so 12 squared, which is 144. 144 multiplied by 0.25 is equals to K, which means that K is equals to 36. So the equation, remember we have this here, so the equation is basically B is equals to 36 divided by D squared. Let's write that here. Next we have to expand into a cubic, which is quite hard because it's, I don't know, there's a lot of multiplication. You could get stuff wrong, so go slow again. Now, what I like to do is multiply two of the terms first, and then multiply by the other one. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3x times 2x, which is going to give us 6x squared. And I'm going to do minus 1 times 3x, which is minus 3x. And now that's basically what you're going to multiply 5x plus 4 by. So let's do this. So it's going to be 30x cubed minus, or plus 24x squared minus 15x x cubed minus 12x. Now just simplify this. Yeah. Okay, I don't know why I wrote my 2's like that. Yeah. So it's gonna be 30x squared, sorry, plus 9x squared minus 12x, which should be in the form they asked us for. Yep. Nice. Okay, next. OAPB is a sector of a circle, center O. And you're given the angle at the center, the area of the triangle. Okay, so we want to find the area of the sector, so the area of this whole thing. And area of a sector is basically the angle of the sector over 360 multiplied by pi r squared. So the only thing we're missing here is r, actually, because we already have the angle. Now, how do we find r? Let's see. You have to see that this is an isosceles triangle, which means these two are the same because they're both radii of the circle. And using the equation that's on the formula booklet, half AB sine C is area of a triangle. So if A and B are the same, then we can just write half A squared sine of 50 is equals to 120. And if we do that, then just rearrange for A, I guess. So let's do A squared sine 50 is equals to 240, and then A squared is equals to 240 over sine 50. A is equals to the root of 240 over sine 50, which is equals to, put in the calculator, 17.7, because it wants, oh well, not really, so we're not done yet. Okay, just write that 17.7, I guess. 17.7, and that's the area, or no, not area, the radius, sorry. So now we just put it into the equation. 50 over 360 multiplied by pi, 17.7 squared. Which trying to give us? Pi. It's gonna give us 136 point, and it wants free sig fig, so that's 137. And the units here will be centimeters squared, because that's what the area was in. Oh, well, right, it says 7 centimeters squared there. Okay, next. Express the root of 675 in the form of n root of 27. So important thing to know here is that if a root of AB is the same as root of A times root of B. So root of 675, we can write that as the root of 25 multiplied the root of 27. So that means it's 5 root of 27, which is what it is. And next question, we have to write that in the form of A plus B root 2. And the thing you have to do here is rationalize the denominator. So what you have to do is basically multiply all of this by and now notice it's like a difference of squares. So it's gonna be, well, just forget about the top for now. Just leave the top as is. And the bottom will be, so 2 minus 1. So what it'll be? So it'll be 1. Well, so it'll just disappear anyways. So it's gonna be 5 root 2 multiplied by root 2 plus 1. So if you do this, it's gonna be 5 times root 2 plus 5 minus 2, because root 2 times 2 is 2. And it's gonna minus root 2. So if you kind of organize the terms, it's going to be 3 plus 4 root 2 should be your answer. All right, next. So for this question, it's a histogram question, and it's asking us for the fraction of students who took between 20 and 60 minutes to complete the puzzle. So first, we actually want to get the total amount of students first, because we want it as a fraction, and it doesn't give us total. So for a histogram, you want to do base times height of each rectangle, which will give you how many students took between that much time. It sounds hard, but like it'll be easy once you do it. So here it would be 1.5 times 10, so 15. That means 15 students took between 0 and 10 minutes to complete the puzzle. And you just do that for all of them. So here it would be, 15 multiplied by 0.8, so it's 12. And here it would be 5 times 4, 20. Here it would be 30 times 2.5, 75. Here it would be 5 times 4.6, which would be 23. You add those together, let's get the total. So 15 plus 12 plus 20 plus 75 plus 23 should give you 145, if I'm not mistaken. Well, let's see. Yeah, should be. Now, you want the amount of students that took between 20 and 60. So here. And this little square is going to be 5 times 0.8, so it's going to be 4. And 60 ends here, so it's nicely cut off. So it'd be 4 plus 20, 24, plus 75, which is 99. So the fraction is going to be 99 over 145. Should be the answer. All right, next. An arithmetic series has the first. So this question is an arithmetic series question. So just use the equations on the formula booklet, because it gives you the sum and term, the formula for each term and the sum of a certain amount of terms. So we're told 2 statements. The sum of the first 30 terms is 4,395. That's the sum of the first 30, so it's going to be 30 over 2. Sorry, 2 is kind of bonds. And then multiply by 2a plus 30 minus 1d. Let's rewrite this simpler. So 15 multiplied by 2a plus 29d, which is the same as 38 plus, let's do it in the calculator, 435d. Okay, next one. The sum of the 10th and the 20th term is 284. So the sum of the 10th term is going to be, the sum of them is going to be 284. So 284 is equals to the 10th term, which is going to be 8 plus 10 minus 1d plus, well, it doesn't really matter because it's not multiplication, plus 8 plus 20 minus 1 d, which is going to be equals to 2a plus 9d plus 28d, I think. Make sure, yeah. All right, so now we have 2 equations. So let's rewrite them in a better form. Let's highlight them a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so that's the 2 equations we have. And now to find either one, it's a simultaneous equation. So here you can see, okay, let's see how I should do this. Okay, let's say this is equation 1, this is equation 2. And I multiply equation 2 by 15 to give me 4,260 is equals to, it's not really equals, it's equals to 30a plus 420d. Now let's put equation 1 down here, which is 4,395 is equals to 30a plus 435d. Now we just subtract one from the other. So let's subtract, I don't really want a negative, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's subtract this from this. So 4,395 subtracted by 4,260 is going to be 135, which is equals to 30a minus 30a, which is 0, plus 435d minus 425d. Sorry, 420d, which is 15d. Let's get rid of that. So d is going to be equals to 135 over 15, which is 9. Okay. Now, if d is 9, we just plug it back into equation 2 because it's much simpler. Let's do 284 is equals to 2a plus 28 times 9, which is equals to 2a plus 252. Now we can just do 2a is going to be equals to 284 minus that, which is 32, and that means a is 16. Let's write that here. A equals 16. D is equals to 9. And wait, that's not even the question, sorry. Now we have to find the sum of the first 45 terms. So the equation is the S45 is going to be equals to 45 over 2 multiplied by 2a, and we just found a, which is 16, plus 45 minus 1d, which is 9. Now put that in your calculator, see what that gives you. So 45 divided by 2, 32 plus 9,630 is what you should get, and that will be your answer. Alright, so this is a simple derivative question. So first we have to derive the function. So if you don't know already, if y is equals to x to the power of n, then dy dx is equals to nx to the power of n minus 1. So in our case, since y is equals to 2x to the power of 4 minus 64x, dy over dx is going to be equals to 8x cubed minus 64. Now, notice how we have to find the tangent to the curve at a minimum point. And what a minimum point is, for example, if I have a quadratic here, the minimum point is this point, the point at which it's, well, minimum. And you want the tangent at that point. And since the minimum point is a turning point, we know that the gradient at that point is 0. So since the derivative of a function gives you its gradient at any point, we can just set this gradient to 0. Now we rearrange for x. And we get x equals to 2. So now we know the x coordinate of the point. Now we just want to find the y. So we do that by plugging that into the original function. So just plug that into the calculator. Get minus 96. So the point we have is going to be 2 minus 96. Minus 96 is the y. And since the tangent is a straight line there, we know that the equation of the tangent is just y is equals to minus 96. All right, this is a balance question. These are pretty simple, but they do award quite high marks. So let's do it quickly. This is correct to, well, what do we want? We want the upper bound. Okay, so let's see. X is equals to 28.4 to the nearest decimal place. So the upper bound of x, well, let's just do it like, I don't know. How should I structure this? Upper bound, lower bound. And let's do y equals 17 here. W equals to 90. So the upper bound of x is going to be, should I do like a table? Yeah, why not? Y, W. So our table is little. weird, but it's okay. So x, the upper bound of x is going to be 28.45, because what you're going to do is you're going to take the thing that it's closest to, so 1 decimal place, and you divide it by 2, so it's going to be 0.05. And the upper bound, you just add that to the value, and lower bound, you subtract that from the value. So lower bound is going to be 28.35. Now y is closest to the two sig figs, so it could be 17.5 for upper bound and 16.5 for lower bound. W is 90, correct to the nearest 5, so it could be 95 or 85. Now we want the upper bound for the value t, so we want the largest possible value for t. So we want the values on top to be as big as possible and the value on the bottom of the fraction to be as small as possible, because that's how you get the maximum, the upper bound of t. So you want the upper bound of x, so 28.45 squared plus the upper bound of y, so 17.5 squared over the lower bound of w, which is 85. Put it into the calculator. You get, let's see, 13.1 to the nearest free sig figs. Or not. Oh, sorry, because I did this wrong. So the nearest 5 means that the upper bound is going to be 92.5 and the lower bound is going to be 87.5. Sorry. So you want the lower bound on the bottom, because remember it's the nearest 5, so 5 divided by 2 equals 2.5. So you add and subtract that from the value. So it's going to give you a different value, which is going to be to the nearest free sig figs, 12.8, which is your answer. Our next. All right, so this question, we're given a shape that's kind of like a bowl, and we're given the inner radius and the outer radius, and we have to find basically the difference between them and the volume, basically. So let's take the equation of a sphere, which is 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Notice how this is a hemisphere, so half of a sphere is going to be 2 over 3 pi r cubed. So let's do the outer radius first. It's going to be 2 over 3 pi 12 cubed. Let's do that real quickly on the calculator. It's going to be, how do I do this? Okay. Damn. 1,152 pi. Seems about right. And the inner is going to be 2 over 3 pi of 9 cubed, which is going to be, let's see, 486 pi. And we're just going to do one subtracting the other, so 152 pi subtracting by 486 pi, which is going to give you 666 pi. Nice. Well, multiply that out, I guess. Just gonna give you, we want that to the nearest whole number, so that should be it. Yeah. Our next. Oh, don't know why this is here. The curve C has the equation y equals x squared minus 8x minus 9. Okay. So just looking at this, I guess you could probably tell that this is a simultaneous equation question, because we're given 2 points and 2 unknowns. So basically, using the equation, we can put it as k is going to be equals to p squared minus 8p minus 9. But we can also write k is going to be equals to q squared minus 8q minus 9, correct? Because we're just substituting the values in. But notice how we're given p minus q equals 14, so we can rewrite one of them. So we can write q is going to be equals to p minus 14. So let's take these two equations. Actually, let's just move them over here. We can just say that actually, since q is p minus 14, this one is just p minus 14 squared minus p minus 14 times 8 minus 9. So get rid of this. And now, since they're both equals to k, we can just equate them. And yeah. Right. So let's actually expand the right-hand side because it doesn't look very good right now. Let's do p squared minus 20, sorry. How does this work? Minus 28p plus 14 times 14, which is 196, minus 8p plus 112 minus 9. So if we group all the terms, we get p squared minus 36p plus 299. Nice. It's going to be equals to p squared minus 8p minus 9. All right. So let me just move this down because it's kind of messy. Don't know what's going on here. I just got rid of something. Let me just redo that. All right. Forget it. We're just going to leave that there. Now just move everything to one side, I guess. Or, yeah. Let me rewrite that down here because it's too messy. So, minus p squared, so it's going to be 0. And you're going to be plus 36p. So this side's going to be 28p and minus 299 down. So 28p, sorry, I'm just trying to do this in my head, it's gonna mess me up. So minus p squared, we're just gonna move, okay, we're just gonna get rid of the p squared because they cancel out. Now we're left with this and move the p's to one side. So 28p is gonna be equals to 308. So p is gonna be equals to 11. Nice. Now that p is 11, we know p minus q is 14, so 11 minus q is 14, which means that q is going to be equals to -3. So, but do that working out down here, or else they won't give you the marks. But yeah, that's what you should get, I believe. And it's asking us for k actually, so we've got to use one of the values. So we have the point pk and qk, so just choose any one of them. So pk is technically just 11k, and just use the equation at the start. Y is equals to x squared, sorry, I gotta find it, minus 8x minus 9. Yeah. Now, that means when x is 11, y is k, so k is equals to 11 squared minus 8 times 11 minus 9. So, 121 minus 88 minus 9. So, yeah, it's 24. K is 24. That's the answer. Oh, yeah, K is 24. Next. All right, next, it's a vector question, and these are quite common across all papers, and I'm sure you probably have one in your exams. So it's very important to learn how to do these. So let's start. It tells us a little bit of information. O to A is 10A. O to B is 10B. And it tells us A to P. Well, we don't know A to P. Oh no, A to P is a quarter of A to B. So let's find A to B real quick. If we look at the vector A to B, you go from A to O and O to B. So it's going to be 10B minus 10A. Because remember that vectors have direction, so it's very important. Since we're going from A to O, it's the opposite of 10A, so it's minus 10A. And since we know AP is a quarter of that, of 10B minus 10A, it's going to be 2.5B minus 2.5, A. And we also know that OQ is a fifth of OB, so OQ is 2B. All right, so A to Q. So to go from A to Q, we need to go from A to O and then O to Q. So it's going to be 2B minus 10A. That's your answer. And to go from O to P, it's going to be O to A to P. So O to A we know is 10A, and then plus A to P, which is 2.5B. Oh, sorry. Is it minus? Yeah, minus 2.5A. Which is the same as 7.5A plus 2.5B. Okay. Now here's the hard part. The last part of these questions is always going to be a hard one because it wants you to use the answers you got for the first two for this, because you're going to need that. Let me show you. So basically, to get OR, we want to find two different ways of expressing O to R. So from looking at this, I can see that we can go from O to R, like straight like this. And we do know OP because that's one of the values we found over here. So it's going to be a fraction of O to P. That's one way of expressing OR. Or since we found A to Q, we can go from O to A and then a fraction of A to Q to go to O to R. So, sorry, let me just turn the brightness up. Can't really see. Okay. So let's write that. It's going to be either a fraction, let's say the fraction is mu, of O to A, sorry, not O to A, O to P, right? Or O to A plus a fraction of A to Q. Let's do fraction as lambda. Okay, so we know that O to P is 7.5A plus 2.5B. So let's just do this. 7.5 mu A plus 2.5 mu B. And this is going to be equals to 10A, because that's what O to A is, plus, don't know what A to Q is by heart, so, okay, it's going to be 2 lambda B, 2 lambda A, minus 10 lambda A, B, I believe. No, sorry. 2 lambda B minus 10 lambda A. And now since these are both ways to write OR, we can equate them as we can put them equal to each other. So let's do that. Let's group the A terms actually. So now, when we get to this step, what we want to do is something called equating the coefficients. So because both sides are equal, anything and like the same amount of A's have to be on the left and right hand side. So what this means is that 7.5 lambda has to be equals to 10 minus 10 lambda, because this is 7.5 mu a, and this side is 10 minus 10 lambda a. So the coefficients have to be equal. And now we do the same thing for the b terms. So 2.5 mu is going to be equals to 2 lambda. And now since we know that 7.5, well, okay, now we know that 2.5 mu is 2 lambda, so we can also rewrite the first equation as 6 lambda is equals to 10 minus 10 lambda. Now you want to find lambda, so just rearrange. 16 lambda is equals to 10. That means lambda is equals to 10 over 16, which is, well, let me find the calculator. Well, it's 5 over 8. Just leave it like that. Since now we've already found lambda, we can just substitute it back in. But I kind of don't want to use the second equation because it's kind of complex, so I'm going to find mu. And now since that 2.5 mu is equals to 2 lambda, and 2 lambda is just 10 over 8, mu is going to be equals to 10 over 8 divided by 2.5. Which I'm going to do on the calculator now. Which is a half. Which is quite nice actually, because that just means that OR is a half times by, remember we established this here, because mu is a half, we know it's a half of O to P. And O to P is 7.5A plus 2.5b. Yeah, so I think it's nicer to write this as a fraction. So let's do it like that. Let's do this as this. And now it's just that should be your final answer. And these questions are quite hard. I personally find them pretty hard. So please do try some of these before you go into your exams if you know that you struggle with them. All right, next, I believe this is the final question. It's a functions question. And we have to find the inverse function of fx is equals to 2x squared minus 24x plus 7. Right, so let's write that down. Okay, so what we want to do here is, first, I think it's good if you want to complete the square. So first, just and remember when completing the square, you have to account for the extra term when you do this. So the 36 here is the extra term. Then that would just be minus 72 plus 7, so it's minus 65. Right. So to find the inverse, we want to just first set this to y, and we want to replace the positions of the x and the y's. So this is going to be what it is now. And we want to rearrange for y. So how should we do this? It's x minus 65. Let's do divided by 2. This equals to y minus 6 squared. And we want to root that. So and then if you move y here, oh sorry, when you root, remember plus or minus. That's very important. Do not forget plus or minus. So y is going to be equals to 6 plus or minus root of x minus 65 over 2. Now, note in the question it tells us the function of f is this where x is greater than 6. And the inverse function is basically putting in whatever the output of that first function is and giving you the original x. Now, we know that the x can't be less than 6. So in the answers, we choose the one that's the plus. Because if it's minus, then the answer we get would be less than 6, which is not possible for this function. So we choose the plus one, so the inverse function is this. F inverse of x is equals to 6 plus the root of x minus 65 over 2. And that should be your final answer. Sorry, x minus 65. And yeah, that should be it for this paper. So if you have any questions, you can ask, and I can do another past paper if you want. And yeah, please go practice these questions, and good luck for your exams.